Hi there. Many others like you have asked, what does it mean that the blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church? You have the question, the Bible has the answer, and we can help you with it. The following is a visual presentation of the full article from our website. Visit the link below to learn even more. The 2nd century church father, Tertullian, lived in Carthage, North Africa, when the persecution of Christians was at its apex. In those days, the blood of the martyrs soaked the earth as believers were fed to the lions, beaten, whipped, sawed in half, put to death by sword, burned in the fire, and chained in prisons. Tertullian maintained that the more Christians were persecuted and mown down, the more they would multiply because the blood of Christians is seed. Tertullian's statement was later interpreted as the blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church. This loose translation likely developed from Augustine of Hippo's sermon.
The earth has been filled with the blood of the martyrs as with seed, and from that seed have sprung the crops of the church. They have asserted Christ's cause more effectively when dead than when they were alive. They assert it today. They preach him today. Their tongues are silent. Their deeds echo round the world. They were arrested, bound, imprisoned, brought to trial, tortured, burned at the stake, stoned to death, run through, fed to wild beasts. In all their kinds of death they were jeered at as worthless. But precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints.
The blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church was just one of Tertullian's many clever aphorisms. To express the thought in less concise language, persecution forces the church to dig underground, and as a result, causes it to spread out and spring up in other parts of the world. Tertullian's statement also conveys the idea that the bravery of martyred Christians inspires faith and boldness in those who observe their deaths. The unintended consequence of persecution is a harvest of fresh souls for the Church of Jesus Christ, a living organism that will continue to advance and progress despite all opposition. When the blood of Stephen, Christianity's first martyr, was shed, one of the fiercest persecutors of early Christians stood by, watching, agreeing with the killing. That man was Saul, who soon became the Apostle Paul and eventually perhaps the single most influential Christian evangelist to ever live. Paul, who experienced a miraculous conversion, began planting churches throughout the then known world and wrote about 1/4 of the entire New Testament. Paul's life and words in Scripture still sprout grains of faith in the hearts of men and women today. History has borne witness to the truth of Tertullian's statement. In The Superintending Providence of God in Foreign Missions, Arthur Pearson writes of Christian martyrdom as part of God's plan.
These are but parts of his ways. The pages of the century's history are here and there written in blood, but even the blood has a golden luster. Martyrs there have been, like John Williams, Abraham Lincoln, and David Livingston. But every one of these deaths has been like seed, which falls into the ground to die that it may bring forth fruit.
The martyrs were bound, imprisoned, scourged, racked, burnt, rent, butchered, and they multiplied.
Observed Augustine. Brilliant Bible commentator Matthew Henry said,
God sometimes raises up many faithful ministers out of the ashes of one.
Now, in conclusion, today, if you are fortunate enough to live in a part of the world where Christian persecution is minimal, you may never have to give the ultimate sacrifice, as some believers have had to do. But if God does call you to suffer for the sake of Christ, you can consider it an opportunity for great joy, knowing God will reward you for it. So don't worry or be afraid of their threats. All right, that answers your question. What does it mean that the blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church? Thanks for watching. The link to this full article is in the description below. Now, if you prefer to stay on YouTube, here is a recent upload and a curated option to choose from. Now, don't be afraid to keep asking important questions like this.